It's going to be a very exciting video today because we are taking these out for their first run. So this is New Balance's first ever Go Faster carbon plated trail shoe, the FuelCell SuperComp Trail. Now the reason I think this is going to be extremely exciting is because I tried this shoe on in Chamonix just to check the size out, and boy does it feel good. Fits my foot shape like a glove. Straight out of the box it just feels like a comfy pair of slippers, and it really reminded me of one of my favourite running shoes of all time, the New Balance FuelCell Rebel V2. So can't wait to try them out, can't wait to get out on the trails. So let's dive into the video and take the SuperComp Trail out for its first run. Welcome back everyone, and thanks for joining us for another video. I'm Lloyd Purvis and this is Run4Adventure, your friendly, informative, running related YouTube channel. Now if you have been enjoying the content that we've been uploading but you're yet to subscribe, then maybe today is the day. Super simple, only takes a few seconds to do just by clicking on that little red box down there in the corner, and it is completely free, but it's a big help to the channel. And also while you're there, don't forget to hit that bell icon as well, because then you'll be notified when we upload any new exciting running content. Okay, so let's start off with giving you a few facts and figures about these rather good looking carbon plated trail running shoes. So first up, they retail in the UK for £200. Weight wise, this weighs in at 285 grams in these UK 10.5s. And yep, you heard me right, this is a UK 10.5. Now, if you've followed the channel for any period of time, you'll know that I tend to run most of my shoes in a UK 9.5. Sometimes I do have to go up to a 10. It is very rare for me to go up to a 10.5. I've done it with a couple of shoes over the years, so I would say that the SuperComp Trail does size up pretty small. They come with a 10mm heel offset, which I personally think is quite high when this is supposed to be a performance-driven running shoe. Going to be really interesting to see how that affects the performance out on the trails. I hope it doesn't have a negative impact, because I tend to like a lower offset of around about 4 to 6mm when it comes to my trail running shoes. As far as the stack height of that midsole, we've got a 31mm height on the heel and 21mm under the forefoot. As far as the construction goes, New Balance have chosen to use this lightweight and durable synthetic mesh on the upper, and we've got lots of strategically placed small perforations all over the shoe to help create constant airflow. So that should really work well when it comes to overheating, when you're running in hot conditions, and moisture management. Like a lot of trail shoes these days, we've got a very thin gusseted tongue design in that upper. And you know, if I'm honest, I'm not always a fan of a very thin tongue with no padding in my running shoes, but when it comes to New Balance shoes, I've run quite a few of their shoes with this tongue design, and they tend to do a really good job of it. So normally feels very comfortable over the top of my foot, and it gives me that real sort of foot hugging mid-foot hold. There's some good structure and padding in the heel and around that ankle collar, and we've got a pretty sort of standard traditional lacing system in the shoe. There is a little bit of extra protection from this toe protector, which in my eyes is always a good thing to see when it comes to our trail shoes, and something that I definitely look out for. Moving down to what I personally think is the most exciting part of this new shoe, and it has to be the full nitrogen infused fuel cell foam compound in the midsole. Massive fan of this foam. It tends to feel very comfortable underfoot, super lightweight, but also very responsive, and always feels like it's giving you a lot of energy back. So very excited to test this new midsole out on the trails of Cornwall. And then obviously we have that carbon fiber plate worked into the construction, or as New Balance like to call it, their energy arc technology. So this combines that carbon plate geometry with strategically shaped and placed voids in that midsole, which New Balance claim sort of increases stored energy to deliver higher levels of total energy return. And last but not least, flipping them over to reveal a full Vibram Mega Grip light base outsole. Always a great thing to see on the bottom of a trail shoe. So this super sticky rubber is going to give us great levels of grip on rocky or wet rocky trails. unfortunately it doesn't look like the deepest lug pattern in the world, so I couldn't find the official lug depth on the New Balance website, so I pulled out the Run4Adventure ruler, gave them a quick measure, and it looks like we've got a 3.5mm lug depth. So I think the SuperComp Trail will struggle a bit in muddy conditions here in the UK, but there it is, folks, the all-new carbon-plated trail shoe from New Balance, the FuelCell SuperComp Trail. But we've reached that point in the video that I've been waiting for. Hopefully you guys have been waiting for it as well. And that is to take these bad boys out for their first run. So let's go and get them laced up and we'll see you out on the trails. Okay, so regular viewers of the channel will realise that we have made it into Tahiti Woods up on the north cliffs of Cornwall. I've got to be honest, it's not the mountains of Chamonix, and I have got a little bit of mountain blues, but it's always great to come back and run in Cornwall. We got some incredible trails to run on, and Tahiti Woods is the perfect testing ground for a new trail shoe. We're about 2.5 miles into the run, just a really nice steady warm up, getting everything nice and loose before we start pushing the pace a bit more. If you haven't been following the channel, I was a bit poorly towards the end of the Chamonix trip, and this is my first sort of proper run since being poorly, so want to take it nice and easy and ease into the run. So we got sort of 7 miles planned today. We're going to do a mixture of terrain. That's why it's great to come into Tahiti Woods, and we're going to up the pace a bit because at the end of the day this is a carbon plated sort of race day trail shoe, so we definitely want to push the pace in it and see how it's performing. But so far so good. Fits my foot shape like a glove, like a lot of New Balance shoes do. Feels very comfortable, really well locked down around the midfoot, good hold in the heel, but it kind of gives you that very minimal sort of no shoe feel, which I love in a trail shoe. But yeah, like I said, the run's going good. Let's crack on, get these miles done. We are now 5 miles into the run. I have to say, it definitely not 100% yet. I think there's still a little bit of recovery to do since being ill. The lungs feel a bit tight, but we're getting there. We're running. Super happy to be doing that. And the New Balance FuelCell SuperComp Trail is actually the 3rd carbon plated trail running shoe that we've tested recently on the channel. I personally think that it feels quite different to the other two, the Nike Ultrafly and the ASICS Fuji Speed 2, because the midsole construction feels different. Yes, it feels very responsive, feels like it's returning lots of energy and feels nice and snappy, but it doesn't have that sort of overly stiff feel that you do get from a lot of sort of carbon plated trail shoes. And if I'm honest, it's that feel that's kind of put me off them in the past. It definitely feels a lot more flexible at the midfoot, so when I am hitting those sections of more uneven technical trail, I still feel really well connected and really dialed in. And like I said, that has been an issue with some of the other shoes where you lose that ground feel and you just don't feel as stable underfoot. Definitely not happening in these, and it also feels a bit more forgiving. So I'm out of breath, let's stop. So even though I'm running in a brand new carbon plated trail shoe straight out of the box, no foot pain, no foot discomfort. Feels like it's bedded in already. So definitely a thumbs up when it comes to that carbon plated midsole. But let's crack on, let's run some more miles. Okay, so we are all done. A great first run in the New Balance shoe, just under 7.5 miles. So first things first, I'm going to get a nice dry clean t-shirt on, then we're going to head home and we'll break down the performance of the FuelCell SuperComp Trail in a little bit more detail when we get back. Well, that went rather well, although I've got to say it has been a while since my last proper run and my legs do feel a little bit sore and a little bit tired now after today's effort. So before we dive into the conclusion, I've just got to say a big thanks to the wonderful Ali from New Balance for hooking us up with a pair of the FuelCell SuperComp Trail. We actually picked the shoes up in Chamonix at the launch party. So we headed off one evening to this stunning sort of Alpine Lodge style home on the edge of the valley with incredible views of the Mont Blanc Massif. It really was some pad. We had some nice food, a couple of half pints of our favourite Mont Blanc beer, and we caught up and chatted with some lovely people. So we had a great evening. So once again, a massive thanks to Ali for the invitation to the launch party. It really is appreciated. Okay, so let's get back to how New Balance's first ever carbon plated trail shoe performed out there today. And I would have to say it was rather good for many, many reasons. So first up, like I mentioned a couple of times already, really does work well for my foot shape. Great lockdown around my midfoot, really good hold in the heel. I felt very secure inside this upper. So I wouldn't say it's the widest fitting upper in the world and definitely would work best for a sort of medium to narrow foot width, like a lot of New Balance uppers do. And I really can't emphasize it enough. If you are thinking about purchasing a pair of these, you really do need to consider going up at least half a size because they do size up small. And like I said, I've gone up a full size in mine and the length in the toe is perfect. Secondly, I really enjoyed the feel and performance of the midsole, even though it is a carbon plated trail shoe. Still had good flex at that midfoot, so it didn't feel overly stiff like it can with some carbon plated trail shoes. And I would personally say that it actually felt more like a sort of TPU plate, so still delivered that nice responsive snappy ride because it's got that little bit of flexibility. Ground feel connection was still really good. I'd have to say it's probably one of, if not the best feeling carbon plated trail shoes I've run to date. Now obviously these are just my thoughts after our first 7-mile run, so I don't want to get carried away, and it'll be great to get some more miles in the shoe, especially a couple of longer efforts, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing over the coming weeks. As far as the fuel cell compound in the midsole goes, I would say it is a slightly firmer blend of fuel cell that you'd get in, say, New Balance road running shoes, which personally for me is definitely a good thing because that gives you a nice stable platform when you pick up any sections of uneven ground. And the FuelCell SuperComp Trail did feel very stable out there into Hiddy Woods today, and again I'd have to say one of the most stable feeling carbon plated trail shoes I've run in. I did have one concern about the shoe before the run, and that was this big void in the bottom of the outsole there, because to me it looked like the perfect stone trap, and if you follow the channel you'll know that is one of my pet hates when it comes to running shoes. If you saw our first impressions on the New Balance FuelCell SuperComp Trainer, which is a performance road shoe, you'll know that along the way on that run I did pick up a couple of stones in that void, which I found very frustrating indeed. So I'm happy to say no issues with these today into Hiddy Woods, and I did actually run across quite a few stony trails, so I can definitely take a big sigh of relief when it comes to any issues with stone traps. So all in all, I haven't really got any negatives to say about the shoe. Personally for me, the only thing that slightly lets it down is that shallow lug depth. We've got that great Vibram Mega Grip light base rubber on the outsole, so you know, grip's going to be great on rocky or wet rocky trails, but we've got that shallow lug, and I've got to be honest, in some of those muddier sections in the woods today, I did struggle a bit for traction. So I think when it comes to those wetter, muddier times of year, especially here in the UK, you might be slipping and sliding a bit in these, which is a big shame. And I personally think a 4.5 or a 5mm lug depth would have been a better option, because that would have made the FuelCell SuperComp Trail a much more versatile shoe. Okay, so wrapping up, I had a really good run out there today. Uppers felt very comfortable, the shoe felt nice and fast, responsive and exciting to run in, and I'm actually already looking forward to lacing them up again and getting out on the trails. I'll definitely be doing a long run testing them soon. I'll be grabbing the cameras, bringing you guys along on the run so you can see how they perform. But have I actually found a carbon plated trail shoe that works for me? Well, I guess time will tell, but today was a great start. Really hope you enjoyed the video and you found it helpful. Don't forget, if you did, to like, comment, share and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because it really does help us out here. We have got some exciting running content heading your way over the coming weeks, and we've actually already started planning next year's race calendar, and it is looking very exciting indeed. We got some great races lined up in the UK and some incredible races overseas. Really looking forward to telling you all about it, and I personally think 2024 is going to be a big year for Run4Adventure. But until next time, guys, thanks for watching, thanks for supporting the channel, it's really appreciated. We'll be back here very, very soon, and as always, stay safe and keep on running. Okay, so we had a great time filming in the expo, and I've got to be honest, we're walking up this pretty steep hill. Amazing views, but I'm not feeling 100%, so this is hard work. But we are heading to the launch of the new Balance FuelCell SuperComp Trail shoe. So it's their carbon plated trail racer, light, nimble, agile. So big fan of FuelCell, big fan of New Balance shoes. So it's going to be awesome to find out more about it, and you never know, maybe try them on. So let's get up this hill and find out what's going on. Woo!